But Sean, today is Friday Eve.
It is right.
So here's the question. What, do we have any 5Ks?
Not this weekend,
Okay.
but there is a free self-defense spot in Cologne.
Well, I may have to drive there because I will not have a law named after me. I will not be on a Lifetime movie.
There's another 5K that's free.
Oh, where is it?
You didn't send it to us for this weekend? No, that's not this weekend. It's November. November 2nd.
Oh, a 5K for my birthday.
That's that one.
I can't believe I'm doing a 5K on my birthday. That's what's happening.
It's for good.
Okay, I'll do it. Marco, are you going to start joining us on our 5Ks?
Oh, of course.
Yay. Oh,
We gotta keep this 30-minute 2-mile.
oh my gosh. So how was your duty while you were away from us?
Basic training was fun. So was off in the candidate school.
Mhm.
I did not like being in the field.
Ah,
With all the snakes and spiders and boars. We ran into a boar.
oh my
Or
gosh.
field training exercises.
Did you run into the boar? Did the boar run into you? That's the question.
We ran into the boar for sure.
Yeah.
We were doing our squad team exercises
Mhm.
and we didn't have live ammunition. We only had blanks.
Yeah.
And we just see this big, like shadowy thing come out of the
Uh-huh.
woods. What is that? And I'm like, oh, it's a boar. We thought it was like a German Shepherd or something. It's a huge boar.
Mhm.
So our cadre was like, our captain was like, hey, load in your blanks in case it charges. Like, sir, like,
That's what you gotta do, yeah.
we can scare it off if it charges.
So did it charge or no?
It looked at us and it just kept walking.
It's like, yeah, too easy, and then just walked away.
And then, yeah, pretty much. We were pulling reconnaissance one time. And I got down on the ground and I looked in front of me. I was like, what is that? And it's a rattlesnake that blended in with the leaves.
Oh my God.
And it was just like right here, right from my
Ready
face.
to-
Like, it was just staring me down. And so I
With your heart racing.
a little bit, yeah, because I didn't want to get recycled.
Yeah.
And so raised my hand and my sergeant came over. I was like, Sergeant, there's a rattlesnake in front of my face. Looked at me like I was dumb. He's like,
Yeah.
what did you do?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm glad you made it back with us.
Oh, it was fun.
All right, attorneys.
Yes, sir.
These are the rules. Sometimes I see I have to repeat them because then people stare at me. So if you have a client who's in custody, request them from the deputy. Once they are requested, do not leave the courtroom because there's a limited number of inmates that are allowed out in the box for security reasons. Criminal trial division cases are there. Family violence cases are there. Do not approach the court unless you've conferred with your client and conferred with the state. If your client is in custody, yes, they need to be brought out. Court coordinator is not in charge of giving you a reset. I'm the only person who can give you a reset. If your client wishes to speak to a language other than English, whether you speak the language or not, you need to request an interpreter. Once you request an interpreter, do not leave the courtroom because there's a limited number of interpreters. If you are entering into a plea bargain agreement that requires probation, or you're requesting probation, or if your client is on probation, you need to confer with the probation officer because guess what? When you approach me, I'm going to ask, have you all talked to probation? Probation is an integral part of this process. When we are on the record, do not talk behind the court reporter. How do you know we're on the record? Because I will have called the style of the case. I will call the cause number and I will say state of Texas versus. If you're in the box and you're talking to an inmate and we're on the record, just ask the deputy to move them down to the other end, they will. And when you come before the court, since it's Friday Eve, let's make everybody's job easy. Let's speak loudly and clearly so the court reporter can have an easy job and so that I can hear. And the same loudness that you have when you're in the gallery is the same loudness you need to bring before the court. So it's Friday Eve. I know we thought we will be retired. We're not. We're probably not going to be able to retire. We'll probably be here for 40, 50 years, whatever it may be. So if we're going to be here, let's be happy. So confer with kindness in your heart and a smile on your face. So everyone, please confer. Okay, but Sean, you know that thing that I sent you with what people say? We say snag. Nobody else knows what that means.
It's introduce you to Jessica Garcia. She's one of our CSOs. She's gonna shadow today
Hi.
in the group things and so forth.
All right, welcome. And I'm sorry, what's your name again?
Jessica Garcia.
Jessica Garcia? All right, everyone, we have a probation officer who is shadowing today, Jessica Garcia. So let's make her feel as though she's chosen the right profession. Let's make this a great day for her. You're welcome. So, Bashan, hopefully nobody will be shouting at anybody today. Mario Hinojosa. Hello, thank you so much for dressing appropriately for court.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, your attorney is out today for medical reasons. He's asking that your case be recalled. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, what are your work hours?
Monday through Friday from 7 to 4.
All right, are you able to zoom in?
Should
Do
be.
you know how to zoom?
Yes, ma'am. They're pretty flexible, so I can just come in.
All right, so I'm going to give you permission. You can either zoom in.
Okay.
Your attorney will give you the Zoom link, or either you can come in. Your attorney wants you recalled for next week. Is that going to be a problem with your employer?
No, ma'am.
All right, so what I'll do is I'll recall you for October 31st. Is that good for you?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, once you sign the reset form, you're excused. Norma, if you recall him for October 31st, please. So he's not ready yet.
Thank you.
Who's here on Jesus Rivera? And counsel, is there an application for probation?
Yes, there should be. Do you not see it in there, Judge?
Oh, no, I'm just wondering because it wasn't stamped, but that's okay.
Oh, yes, it is. There.
No, I have. And let me see. All right, there's something with
And
this.
that's 2 counts, Judge, on the same case.
Oh, it's 2 counts?
It's 2 counts with different
Levels of,
levels and offers.
okay.
So, yeah,
All right, I see the application.
okay.
All right, if he can come up, where is he? Hello.
How you doing? Good morning.
All right, who's the prosecutor on Jesus Rivera? It's, oh, it appears to be, is this family violence?
Don't believe that it is, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, court is calling 2024, thank you, Marco, 2024 CR 0085525, State of Texas versus Jesus Rivera Jr. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Andrew Harris Edelman.
Defense?
Elizabeth Settle for the defense.
And are you Jesus Rivera Jr.?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all of the discovery?
I have, Your Honor.
Did you review it with your client?
I did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. So you're proceeding on count 1 and count 3, state.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Count 3, you're charged with driving while intoxicated with a child under 15 years of age. That's a state jail felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine. And count 1, you're charged with injury to a child or elderly, disabled, reckless, serious bodily injury. That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
So according to your plea bargain agreement, as it relates to count 3, punishment is to be assessed at 2 years in the state jail facility. The state recommends community supervision. There's to be restitution, if any, to Jose Espinosa, Espinosa. In count 1, according to the plea, punishment is to be assessed at 8 years in the prison, and the state is recommending community supervision. Did you understand that to be the plea in each of these cause numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense is at the plea,
It is, Your Honor.
state is at the plea,
Yes, Your Honor.
and the cause number as it relates to count 3, outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 4 years. There be a TAP evaluation, DWI intervention, VIP live, portable alcohol monitor for half the term. And in count 1, outside the plea bargain agreement, the state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 8 years. There be a TAP evaluation and 200 hours of community service restitution. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state, and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to count 1, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No counsel.
Count 3, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No counsel.
And was it the party's intention that these cause numbers would run concurrently?
Yes, sir.
All right, State, you may be excused.
Your Honor.
Court will accept into evidence State's exhibits 1 and attachments, and the court will review the same.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, after reviewing State's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty of count 1 and count 3, and the court will find you guilty of count 1 and count 3. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We would like to waive PSI hearing.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, we're just asking that you do follow the agreement. His daughter does not live with him, lives with the mother. He is paying child support. He, the injury that was involved in this case, was a 2-inch cut caused by her glasses she was wearing. She didn't need any medical attention for it. We'd just like you to take that into consideration and order the agreement be followed.
All right, are you employed?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
What do you do?
Electrician.
How many children do you have?
I got 4 children.
What are their ages?
13, 9, 5, and 4.
And the child that was injured because you were driving intoxicated, how old is she?
She's 13, about to be 14.
Why would you drink and then pick up your child?
I wasn't thinking at the time.
Mhm.
So I just want to go get some tacos, try to make it home. That was it.
So how often do you drink?
I don't even drink no more after this.
No, but during this time, how often were
that
you
time.
drinking?
Maybe every Friday.
Was this on a Friday?
I don't know exactly.
So how often are you seeing your children now?
Because of this situation, she kind of split apart a little bit. So trying to work my way in, trying to talk to her, take care of my situation so I could be better.
All right, was Child Protective Services involved?
No, ma'am.
Do you live by yourself or you live with someone?
I live with my wife.
And are there any vehicles at the home?
No, no, ma'am.
Well, what happened to your vehicle?
Well, I never had a vehicle. No. I was using my mother's car at that time.
When's the last time you've driven?
The last time that was situation with my case when I had a crash.
All right, any other questions? Do you
No.
have questions of your client?
You did attend sober support meetings leading
Yes,
up
ma'am.
to this, correct?
Yes, ma'am. I did.
And how many of those did you do?
Since the time that I think it was 8 March when you gave it to me 60 days.
Mhm.
Been doing that, but I've been coming home. I do like a 12-hour shift. So when I come home tired, class don't start till 8 o'clock. So it's an hour and a half. I know that don't matter, it's just a day. So that was my understanding was.
Okay, you didn't answer a question.
I'm sorry. I did maybe like 45 already. And I've been blowing through that detector. Every like I think it's 5 in the morning, 5 at night, and 10 in the afternoon.
And are you continuing to attend?
Oh yes, ma'am, I am.
Okay. All right, this is what the court is going to do. As previously stated, the court is finding you guilty of count 1 and count 3. The court will run count 1 and count 3 concurrently. There's going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular random UAs. Make sure there's a test for alcohol. There's going to be in count 1. The court will sentence you to 8 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 8 years. And count 2, the court will sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility. I'm sorry, not count 2, count 3. The court will sentence you to 2 years in the state jail facility, suspended and probated for 4 years. There's to be restitution to, if any. Counsel, if there is an issue with restitution, you can request a restitution hearing.
All right, Judge.
The DWI intervention course. Victim Impact Count Alive. Portable Well, the PAM device for half the term,
Half the term of the DWI account, correct, Judge?
yes.
Thank you.
So probation, that'll be half the term under count 3.
And Judge, would the court be amenable to giving him credit for the months that he's had that?
No. There's going to be 90 sober support meetings in 90 days. State, are you requesting driver's license suspension?
Your Honor.
All right, there's going to be 2-year driver's license suspension. So you're not allowed to drive. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you drive, that's going to be a violation of your probation. I'm not going to allow you to drive. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
No, Judge,
And
you're-
counsel, if he wants to approach at some point in time where he wishes to have a occupational license, then he can approach. But first, he needs to have more sobriety under his belt and go through probation with some classes. Once he's done that, I'll reconsider.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right. There's going to be a TAP evaluation. Follow recommendations probation. If TAP recommends inpatient treatment, we'll start with intensive outpatient treatment. There will be 200 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to require that he takes parenting classes. Once he completes the parenting classes, the community service hours will be deemed satisfied.
Thank you, Judge.
Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Field visits 1 time per month for 4 months. Probation, is there anything else he needs? All right, is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful?
No, ma'am.
All right, we can go off the record. So the thing about the no driving, do not drive. You're not allowed to drive. If you want to drive, wait the appropriate amount of time. Your attorney can come in and request it. And I will tell you, if there have been no violations, and if I think it is appropriate, more likely than not, I'll give you permission to drive with an occupational license. But you'll need to approach the court. So don't try to sneak and drive or do any of that, because if you do, you're looking at 8 years on one case and you're looking at 2 on the other. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And that state jail facility time is day for day. You understand?
Oh, yes, ma'am, I do.
Now, the thing about driving while intoxicated, nobody ever takes a drink and they say to themselves, you know what? I'm going to drive while I'm intoxicated. It sometimes sneaks upon you. And then once you're intoxicated, you're not making good decisions. Your daughter could have easily been killed. The other people could have been easily killed. Then you would have been standing before me crying, saying, well, I've already lost my daughter. Show me mercy. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're one of those people who cannot drink at all. So don't drink. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, clearly.
All right. In this court, to be successful on probation, communication is key. If there's anything you need, ask probation. If you feel they're not addressing it, you can always approach the court. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you. Probation is going to go over conditions with you, and they'll give you instructions.
Thank you very much. You have a
Thank you,
blessed.
Judge.
Oh, thank you. You have a blessed day too. All right. Who's here on Venegas? Oh, Marco Venegas. She has 2 cases. I only have 1. I have the one for 5-2. I don't have the one for 5-4.
Give me 1 second.
All right, thank you. All right, why were you late for court?
There's no, there was no excuse really. I mean, the excuse that I have is, it was a stupid excuse because I
No,
wore the wrong
what's your
shoe-
stupid excuse?
I wore the wrong shoes and I was walking really slow because I didn't want to fall. And I shouldn't have worn these shoes. I
Okay, so here's the thing. This is what you have to understand.
apologize.
This is what you have to understand. How old are you?
I know I'm 44, man.
All right, you're 44. On September 24th, there was a bond forfeiture issued for you because you were a no-show and you came strolling in at 9:40 a.m. And at that time, it was recalled. Your attorney came back and it was recalled and you're late again. Do not be late for this court again. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you're late again, then guess what's going to end up happening? We're going to call it. Your attorney, he's not looking at going into custody will be you. You understand?
It's fine.
All right, counsel, where are we on these cases with discovery?
No problem. We're finished with discovery, Your Honor.
Okay. State, were you able to tender an offer?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Last time.
Okay.
My mistake, Your Honor.
All right. So we were here and I do see that the offer was tendered and we were coming back today for a plea deadline date.
I believe it's correct, Your Honor.
All right. So are you asking for a jury trial?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a jury trial date. It's a drug case. It should be fairly short. How much time do you think?
2 days, maybe.
2 days, maybe. All right, your jury trial is November 12th. If you are not on time, a warrant will be issued. Do you understand? Unless there's good cause.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right, once you sign the reset form, you are excused.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
State Venegas is November 12th for jury trial. And counsel, could you make sure that there's an acknowledgement of discovery completed?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, there needs to be an acknowledgement of discovery on Venegas, please. Who's here on Christopher Ray Munoz?
Present, Your Honor.
My client and I are present, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Who's the prosecutor?
All the way to the front, sir.
All right, where are we on discovery?
This case has not been indicted yet, Judge. This is a modification hearing that was requested by the defense.
Bond conditions.
Just 1 second.
I have courtesy copies for the court if the court would like.
Oh, I think they've attached them. Yeah.
Okay. I also have a copy of the bond conditions as they currently stand, if the court would like that.
Thank you so much.
I'll offer the same thing to the state.
All right, court is calling CM 118261 and CM 118262, State versus Christopher Ray Munoz. Defense has filed a motion to modify special bond conditions. State, have you had a chance to review the defense's motion?
We have that.
Are you ready to proceed?
Yeah.
And State, are you in objection?
Objection to the motion?
Yes.
Yes, we do have that.
All right, so defense, you may proceed.
Your Honor, I have one minor modification that I need to make on the record to the statements in my motion, as I've learned that there has been a slight change in paragraph. Okay. Paragraph 5, subparagraph A. There's a statement that on my client's partial house arrest, that he is not being allowed to shop for groceries or household goods. That is largely true, but he has been allowed by pretrial services to stop at convenience stores for gas and make very quick trips on his way, but largely the shopping is still an issue. So I wanted to clarify that he has been given a little bit of leniency. To my understanding, when I drafted this, there was no leniency at all. He could not shop in any store
All right,
whatsoever.
so let me ask you, specifically in your motion, what are you requesting?
We're requesting relief from GPS partial house arrest, and we're also requesting relief from the blanket prohibition against being with anybody under 18.
All right, so
due
let's
to the
start
family
with,
implications.
the GPS. Do
I-
you want him removed from GPS entirely?
I would like him, we offer the court an alternative. I would like him removed from GPS entirely. If the court ends up being unwilling after hearing testimony, then we would ask for GPS to be switched to tracking only.
Okay. And State, would you have an objection to tracking only?
GPS stays in place.
Oh, no. I'm just asking just blanket questions right now, and then I'll hear everybody's argument. So I just want to pare down where the disagreement is or the objection is. So you want GPS removed entirely or either tracking in the alternative?
Yes.
Okay, and then what's the other thing that you're requesting?
The other thing is we would like relief from the provision where he is not allowed to have contact with any person 17 years of age or younger, as that is conflicting with family get-togethers and as we'll introduce from his mother's testimony.
All right, so State, do you have any objection to him being around people who are 17 years of age?
We do that.
All right, so now I know where the disagreements are.
That's the entire scope of this morning's motion.
All right, and so there are no other bond conditions you're asking to be modified, just those
That is
two?
correct. Just those two.
All right,
Yes, yes.
all right, you may call your witness.
The defense calls Mary Munoz. Mary Munoz, please come forward.
Sir, then I'm here.
No, we don't have any cough drops, do we? Thank you. I appreciate that.
Good morning.
Good morning. Could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Everyone, please make sure you whisper. We're on the record. Could you state your name for the record?
Mary Ellen Munoz.
All right, just make sure you keep your voice up so that the court reporter can hear and so that I can hear, okay? All right, and thank you for dressing appropriately for court.
Thank you.
All right, Counselor, you may proceed.
Ms. Munoz, do you know Christopher Ray Munoz?
Yes, I do.
How do you know Christopher?
He's my second son.
Okay. You are his biological mother?
Biological mother, yes.
Did you raise him in your home?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Now, you are aware of his arrest in March on the current case, correct? Cases?
I am.
Okay. And you're aware that he bonded out
I do.
and you have invited him to make his home in your home
Yes.
for the time being?
Yes.
I would like to ask you some questions because you would be aware of the things that I want to ask about. Okay. Is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
How long have you resided there?
Since September, October of 2014.
So you've been there for 10 years.
Yes.
Now, is it true that Christopher, for the most part, is unable to shop for himself?
Yes,
Have you been having to buy his groceries?
I have.
Have you been having to do other businesses that require going to a store for him?
Clothing.
Okay.
Yes.
Would you agree that that has cost you extra time because you've been the one to have to do those things?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have extended family other than Christopher? You said he was your second son, right?
Yes,
So you have other children?
I have one of my oldest.
How many other kids do you have besides Christopher?
I just have a son and a daughter.
Okay. And do you have any grandchildren?
I have grandchildren. I have
Okay.
four grandsons.
Okay. Now, before this incident and before Chris was on bond, would you frequently have your children and grandchildren over to your home?
Yes,
Okay.
for dinners and
Okay. Are any of these grandchildren under 18?
yes, three of them.
Has this created a hardship because Christopher's not allowed to be around persons under 18?
It has birthdays and Mother's Day and
So have these relatives just not come, or have you made Chris leave, or have you?
they just don't come to the house. The children are not allowed to come. I'd have to go over there.
Are you aware that Christopher has a son?
Yes,
And do you know approximately how old Jackson is?
he is 8 years old.
Now, before this incident or before this arrest, was Christopher active in his son's life?
Yes, every other week he would pick him up and have him for the weekend and take him back.
Okay. From what you could see, did Jackson appear to enjoy being around his dad?
Yes, he did.
Okay. Since Christopher's release on bond, to your knowledge, has he been able to see his son?
No, he hasn't been able to see him or talk to him.
Have you heard from Jackson during this time?
Yes, I have
Okay.
contacted his mother and
Okay.
yes,
Now, I understand that after this incident or after this arrest, CPS investigated Christopher, is that right? Are you aware of this?
yes,
Okay. And are you aware if they found any reason for concern regarding Jackson?
no, they did not.
Okay. Are you aware of whether their investigation has been closed?
Yes, we received a letter that it's been closed.
Okay. And I believe that letter was provided as an exhibit to the court, to the original motion, right? Okay. Have you ever seen Christopher acting inappropriately around Jackson?
No, never.
Now, you have another son. What is your other son's name?
Juan Munoz,
Juan.
Junior.
And does Juan,
Excuse me, counsel, I'm sorry for interrupting. I don't have the letter attached. You said there was a letter?
there should have been a letter. I see if I made a note that I attached that as a motion or as an. Let me see. That should have been part of I did not print out the letter this morning because I thought, yes, I believe I attached it to the original motion. But it states that CPS did a peremptory investigation into Christopher regarding his son Jackson and found nothing and closed the investigation with no reason to believe.
All right, and state, have you reviewed that letter?
I did not know there was a letter.
All right,
It's
just one
possible it
second.
may not have attached.
Well, let me, are
But
you
I
able
thought
to, that's okay. Are you able to email the letter to me and I'll
I'm
print
able
it
to
out?
email that letter today.
Let me,
Yes, I have it. And
let
if
me
we
get-
want to table the decision until the court can review that letter, that would be fine.
what I will do is, this is my email address. If you're able to email it to me, then I'll email it back to both parties, so it won't be considered ex parte.
That's fine. I will do that and I will make sure that I have your email address as well and I'll. do
And
it to
if you
both.
attached it to your motion, the clerks may be able to pull it up as well.
I attempted to, not everything I've attempted to e-file has gone the way that I wanted it
Okay,
to.
all right, no problem.
So, but I'll make sure that the court has it within the next 2 hours.
All right, thank you. You may continue.
Okay. We had said, I had asked if you had another son and you identified the son as Juan Munoz Jr., is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, does Juan have any kids?
Yes, he's got 3,
Okay. And are any of those kids under 18?
2 of them.
Do you have an idea about how old Noah and Elijah are?
Noah's 13 and Elijah's 8.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, he just turned 9.
Okay. Now, prior to this arrest, are you aware of whether Christopher was active in his nephew's lives?
Oh, yes, he was.
Okay. And he and his brother or he and his nephews would
Very
frequently
close.
see each other?
Yes.
Okay. And since his arrest, are you aware of whether Christopher has been able to have any contact with his nephews?
No, he hasn't.
Have his nephews been able to come over to your house?
No, they cannot.
Okay. Do you wish they could have?
Yes.
Now, what does Christopher, excuse me, what does Christopher do for his job?
He's a press operator.
I'm sorry,
Die
what?
cutting press operator
Ah.
for the company that I work at.
Okay. And what's the name of the company you work at?
Diversified Printing Services.
Okay, so he is a die operator at a printing shop. What does that function do?
It's a die cutting press. It runs sheets through and it cuts them and makes to make into pocket folders,
Got it, okay.
brochures, those HEB sleeves.
Got it. So it's involves cutting different types of paper.
Yes, and of operating
Okay.
forklift and moving pallets and things
Okay.
like that.
Now, are you aware of whether Christopher, before this incident or before this arrest, was able to do jobs on the side, skilled labor, unskilled labor?
Yes, maintenance.
What is Chris good at?
Air conditioning repair.
Okay. And since his arrest, has he been able to go do any of these side jobs that you're aware of?
No, he hasn't.
Do you have any idea why he has not been able to do that?
Because they require going to the actual home to look at the units.
Okay. And do you know whether he has tried to get permission from pretrial services to do side jobs?
I think one time he did ask for permission.
Are you aware of whether he was granted permission?
They did grant him permission one time.
Was there an issue of how much advance timing notice they needed or anything
A
like that?
day's it was a day's notice advance.
Okay. And are you aware of whether he always has that much notice when he has a job opportunity?
No.
Okay.
No.
So has the lack of notice affected his ability to accept these opportunities, in your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Do you believe that Christopher poses a danger to you?
No. I mean, yes, no, I believe he does not pose a danger to me.
Okay. Who else lives in your home?
I'm just myself.
Okay. Do you believe that Chris poses a danger to anybody else in your extended family?
No.
Would you be worried if anybody in your extended family spent time around Christopher?
No, I would not be worried. I never have worried.
Okay. Do you want the court to grant him relief from GPS monitoring?
Yes, I do.
Do you want the court to grant him the ability to travel around freely?
Yes.
Do you want the court to allow him to be around people who are not yet 18?
Yes, especially his nephews
Okay.
and his son.
Wanted to ask one other question. You mentioned that Juan Munoz was a junior.
Mhm.
Now, but you said you lived alone. So
Yes.
does that mean that you are no longer with Christopher's father?
Right, we were divorced in 2008.
Okay. So does Christopher's father still, is he still living?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Has Christopher been able to go and visit his father?
No, he hasn't,
Do you know why?
because he has to be at my house.
Okay. Ask the witness.
State.
So yes, I have a few questions for you.
Yes.
Are you aware of the charges that Mr. Munoz is currently facing?
I was made aware of them, yes.
It's, continuous sex abuse of the mind, right?
Right.
Which you would agree with me, it's a very serious.
It's a very serious charge, yes, I know.
Because it involves children, right?
Mhm.
And you're aware that while he is facing his trial date, there needs to be some special conditions as part of his bond, right?
Yes,
And one of those conditions is to keep him under partial house arrest, right?
right,
So he is still allowed to go to work, right? It's just that he wants more time to go to work.
yes, correct.
But you agree with me that even though you said that he does not pose a danger to you because you're his mother, you agree with me that there could be a danger to the community for someone facing this charge.
No, I don't believe that.
So you would agree with me that so do you know any other facts in this case?
I just know what I was read.
What you read?
Well, no, what came out on the news.
Okay. But of course, everything that gets reported in the news is not the whole case.
Right, correct.
There's definitely more information. So you haven't talked to these girls, right?
No, I don't even know where they live.
Okay. So it's fair to say that you're missing information, right? That we have, which is why we have concerns, right? Okay. So you mentioned that he cannot go grocery shopping, right?
Right.
But you agree with me that he can still get groceries, right?
If I go out of town, then he's left to fend for himself.
Well, but there's ways to get groceries, like maybe at curbside. Have you heard of HEB curbside?
Yes,
You can
correct.
go and pick up the groceries out, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
You pay more if you can.
Well, you can pay more if you need it immediately, but it's free if you order it ahead of time.
Correct.
Okay. You also said that you don't believe that he's a danger to the family members, to the extended family, but you also said that if extended family cannot go to your home because of the conditions, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But you agree with me that Mr. Munoz doesn't necessarily have to live with you, right? He can live somewhere else.
He was evicted from his apartment that he lived at when he got these charges on him.
Okay, but he's working, right?
Right.
And he can maintain himself, or he could, right? And live somewhere else.
That would be difficult because then he would have to disclose what he's charged with.
And you think that the community would want to know these kinds of things?
Because I don't believe that he did this.
Yeah, but you just told me that you don't know all the information. How can you believe that?
Because I know my son.
Okay, I see. Because you love your son,
Yes.
right? And you're going to do everything to protect him.
Of course.
Okay. No further questions, Judge.
Any other questions?
Are you aware that HEB does a 3% upcharge for curbside orders? Were
Yes,
you aware of that?
I am aware of it.
Even if you order ahead?
Correct. I know.
No further questions.
All right, here's my question. Who all lives in your home? What are their ages?
Me, I'm 63, and then my son,
All
Christian.
right, those are the only two people who live in your home?
2, yes.
All right. So with regards to what is in place now, which is that he cannot be around persons 17 or younger, who are the people? And when I say people, I mean, what are their ages of the people who you want to be in your home who are 17 years or younger?
My grandson, Noah, 13. My other grandson, Elijah, he's 9. And then, of course, Jackson.
Okay. And how old is Jackson?
Jackson's 8 years old. That's his son.
All right. So the 13-year-old and the 19-year-old, do their parents know what he's charged with?
The 19-year-old?
I'm sorry, the 13-year-old and the 9-year-old, do their parents know what he's charged with?
Yes, they do.
And the 8-year-old, does the mother of that child
Yes.
know what he's charged with?
Yes, she does.
And the parents of the 13-year-old, the 9-year-old, and the 8-year-old, do they have issues with him being alone with the 13-year-old, 9-year-old, and 8-year-old?
No, they don't have any issues.
Okay.
Does your daughter have any children?
My daughter doesn't have any children yet.
Okay.
She's trying.
So with regards to the 13-year-old and the 9-year-old, do they have to come to your house or can you go to their home?
That's what I've been doing, going to their home, but when I have family gatherings or it's my birthday or Easter or something like that, it'd be nice to have it at my house. And especially for Thanksgiving, Christmas is coming up.
So you're saying
And
Thanksgiving,
babysitting too, because sometimes, my son lives on base at Lackland. And sometimes I would like for them to bring him to my house and they could,
and he's not allowed on base, is he?
not right now, no.
And why is he
Well,
not
he
allowed?
had passed for base. Yes, he was.
But he's not allowed
He
on
hasn't
base
been
now?
able to go anywhere. Once he goes to work, he comes.
No. My question is, with the charges he has, is he allowed on base?
I don't know.
May I
All right,
clarify?
and, oh, just 1 second. When is your birthday?
It just passed July 24th.
Okay, all right, you may ask questions.
Has he even attempted to go on base since he was put on house arrest?
No.
All right, any other questions?
Not
All right.
today.
Thank you so much for coming in.
Your Honor, when
Yes.
he was arrested, of course, he was a magistrate. He didn't have an attorney at the time. So everything's put into place without counsel.
Well, I can tell you, when a person goes before a magistrate,
Mhm.
it's not considered adversarial.
Mhm.
So what ends up happening when a person goes before a magistrate, that magistrate just tells them what their rights are.
Mhm.
Nobody questions him about the facts of the case or whether it's true or not.
Mhm.
They just read it. The magistrate will read what the charges are to make sure there's probable cause. Then what will end up happening is the magistrate will tell him his rights, what you've heard on television,
Yes.
right to remain silent, and then the magistrate will set a bond. Okay? So the magistrate's job is not to determine whether he's guilty or not guilty. You understand? Because their burden is much lower.
Yes,
All right. Thank you so much for coming in.
thank you.
You may see.
All right, you can call your next witness.
No further witnesses, just have argument, and I will provide the court with the document that we mentioned.
All right.
Would this be the appropriate time for argument?
Yes, well, I have a few questions. Maybe the attorneys can address this.
Okay.
So,
So before we move forward, the first
Yes.
judge, I just wanted to see, I don't have any witnesses, but I want to see if I can introduce, please give one, just get police report and prosecution back to the report.
yes. Any objections to the court reviewing the police report and the prosecution guide?
We object simply because there is no sponsoring witness, there's no supporting documentation, it is simply an unproven charge. And we would ask the court to either to decline to review it because there is nobody to sponsor it, or to at least take notice of the fact that nothing in there is proven.
All right, the court will take notice that nothing is proven. This will just, and I will tell you, the purpose of my reviewing it is to figure out why the state is objecting to the 17 years of age. That's what I'm trying to understand.
Correct. My response would be, Judge, that the rules of evidence for 101, proceeding like this, the rules of evidence don't apply.
All right, so first issue, and if y'all can tailor your arguments to the questions that I have. So state, with regards to him going to a grocery store, what is the specific issue with him shopping for groceries?
Given that there are two victims in this case, one of the witnesses is a child, so a total of 3 minors. I believe any exposure to any children in the community is a danger. I don't believe that he should be in public places or places where there are children around, which would be a grocery store.
Okay. All right, so here's the court issue with the grocery store shopping. People have to be allowed to have food. So what we can do with regards, I'm not going to remove GPS tracking, but I will allow him a time period where he can go to the grocery store. The tracking will actually show him at the grocery store. So what hours does he need to go to the grocery store?
Would normally be evenings and weekends, times when he's not working. And it would not necessarily just be the grocery store. Sometimes we need Scotch tape. Sometimes we need new shoes.
All right, they have that at the grocery store. They do have Scotch tape at the grocery store. And if you, I'm not promoting anybody, but Walmart has everything, HEB has everything. Walmart has shoes. They do have groceries as well. If you're going to the Walmart that has everything. HEB, if you're going to the big HEB, my understanding, they have shoes, they have everything. So it's not going to be every day. Pick a day for when he wants to go to the grocery store.
Would you be able to do shopping on a Saturday or on a Sunday more conveniently?
I would.
Pick a day, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday. Okay.
All right, Saturday for the grocery store. What's the time frame? And I'm thinking children, when I was growing up, children would be at home in the morning time watching cartoons, getting up at 6 a.m., waking parents up.
Could be working Saturday daytime. Would it be appropriate for evening, or is there some place that's gonna be closed by evening?
Oh, HEB is 24/7, so is Walmart.
I think Walmart is 24/7. I don't know about HEB.
HEB still closes at 11. I have a daughter who works
Oh,
there.
HEB closes at 11? Oh, I didn't know that. Well, Walmart is 24/7. So what time for the grocery store?
If the, how large or small a time frame is the court looking for, like a 4-hour time frame? Or
Oh, it
what are you
doesn't
looking
take
for?
people 4 hours to grocery shop.
Okay.
All
I
right,
would say after 5 PM on Saturdays.
Be 2 hours.
yeah, 2 hours for grocery shopping.
Okay.
So what time? Saturdays? What are the hours for grocery shopping?
About 5 PM.
5 to 7
5 to
PM.
7.
Okay.
5 PM to 7 PM for grocery shopping on 7. Now, we've settled that. I'm not removing GPS, but I will allow him to go grocery shopping from 5 PM to 7 PM.
Is tracking unacceptable as an option to the court?
No, I'm not going to do tracking. Is he being allowed to work?
Yes.
He is currently being allowed to work. I think the issue was he wanted to do additional.
He had
Jobs,
additional
side jobs,
opportunities
okay.
because he's good at AC repair and things like that. And he was not able to embrace most of those because they required more advanced notice than pretrial was comfortable with. And pretrial also wanted to know, is this somebody's home that he would be at or something like that?
Because here's the thing, if he's doing AC work, if he has to go inside somebody's home,
Correct.
then they need to know what he's charged with in case they have children inside the home. And I'm not saying any of this is true. I'm not taking it as true, just
Okay.
based upon the nature of the charges.
You got to be fair to both sides.
Yes. All right. So partial GPS for employment, that's going to still stand, and he's allowed to grocery shop on Saturdays, 5 to 7 PM. Now, the next thing we're going to move to is this 17 years or younger issue. Thanksgiving, Christmas. State,
So it would be the same argument, Judge. This is more than one victim. I did not know about the CPS letter. I will have no objections if he wants to see his son and his son only. However, any cousins or any other minor children, I would probably be objecting to that.
Your Honor, in response, may I respond to that?
yes.
The allegations in this case date back to 2017. It is 2024 now. There is no allegation of any inappropriate contact with children since then. There have been no criminal charges since then that have stuck. There was a misdemeanor assault that was charged and then summarily dismissed because the justice system worked like it was designed to work.
All right.
So if there were going to be issues involving his nephews, they would have come up by now.
All right, number one, I'm not going to allow any unsupervised contact with minors. So with regards to Thanksgiving and Christmas, usually I know Thanksgiving and Christmas, when people come over, they stay forever, but there's going to be a window of time for Thanksgiving and Christmas where the mom can have her grandchildren there and he can be there as well. But it's no unsupervised contact. Any objections to that as an option, state?
So I have concerns, Judge, because the allegations that were made, police report, there was adults in the home, it was just in a different room
No,
where this
that's
happened.
inaccurate.
That's my understanding. So absent any,
Let me reread your police report, because I think in the police report, I think,
I think there's more details in the prosecution guide with the child
Okay,
I have transcribed the whole thing. There has never been an allegation of anything that happened while any other adult was in the home.
just one moment, because I didn't read that, but let me see if I can see what you're talking about. No, it does say that, that other people were in a different room.
So for those reasons, we want.
All right.
The other people were not adults. The other people were allegedly the girls.
Okay.
So anyway, but per further evidence.
All right. So here's the thing. Thanksgiving, I don't know, Thanksgiving and Christmas, I don't know how his family proceeds with their Thanksgiving, their Christmas, but there can be a window if mom is the person in charge of cooking Christmas dinner and Thanksgiving dinner. There can be a window where they can be there, but usually I know people don't want to leave right away after dinner, so I will give them a time frame on Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Would you like to ask mom? She's still here in the room.
Mom, if you'll come forward.
Mary Munoz, please step forward again.
All right, so are you the person who's going to be having Thanksgiving at your home?
I would like to have it at my home this year, yes.
And do you have Christmas at your home?
We each have Christmas at my home, or we'll have Christmas at my son's home. The
All right.
one that lives on base.
All right, so
Or my
Christmas,
daughter, I'm sorry, she lives in Seguin.
all right, so for Thanksgiving, when is your Thanksgiving dinner?
Thanksgiving Day.
No, I mean, what are the hours?
Oh, all day, basically. Till about 9 o'clock, 10 p.m.
All right, so Thanksgiving Day, 9 a.m. to what time state? Because I normally with Thanksgiving, families are cooking all day.
I mean, I prefer not to have any, but
Yeah.
if it's just gonna be the lunch or the dinner, just
Yes.
for eating, it just depends on what time they want to eat.
But usually Thanksgiving dinner is throughout the day. Okay, 9 a.m. to,
May the defense make a comment?
yes.
In my experience, and I have not been at the Munoz household, but in my experience, we have a lot of meal prep. We have a very big meal that's way too big. There's no room left for dessert. There's football games, there's naps, there's dessert, there's leftovers, there's frequently games.
Well, I will tell you. In
Which part of
my,
that do we want to nix?
well, in our tradition, dinner is cooked the day before and everybody just relax on the event. So it's 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and the parents of the 13-year-old, the 9-year-old, and the 8-year-old need to submit a letter stating they know what he's charged with. And they are fine with him being in a home with a 13-year-old, 9-year-old, and an 8-year-old supervised.
Yes. And that's all I want, and it's for, even if I'm always there, or somebody else is always there.
9 a.m., 8 p.m. on Thanksgiving. Christmas,
Could we ask for the same thing, Your Honor?
well, here's the problem with Christmas. Christmas is going to be on base. I don't know if they're going to allow him on base with his charges. They probably not. But if they are allowing him on base, then it will be 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And again, there will need to be a letter submitted that the parents, and when I say parents, I mean both parents, know what he's charged with and have no objection to him being in a room with a 13-year-old, 9-year-old, and 8-year-old, but he must be supervised. There must be an adult there. Does everybody understand?
Yes.
Is there anything else?
Nothing further with regard to, if that is all of what the court wishes to do on the motion, then there's nothing further at this time.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, and Ben? Yes. All right, Ben.
Sorry, Your Honor, I was just in the.
That's okay.
I'm speaking to the families.
That's okay. So on the court's order,
Yes.
and Raymond, on the court's order, you all will need to put in the order. Just one moment.
I put some blank,
Oh, and counsel.
yes.
Thank you.
Yes, we've recited the names and date of birth in the motion. Yeah, I
All
keep
right.
handing it to you. It's underlined in the motion.
All right, thank you.
In that case, may I hand this back to you as well?
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Is there anything further that the court needs from me this
No,
morning?
that's all. Thank you.
Appreciate it.